My name is Adam Pedre, and this is the muscle group exercises and functions PowerPoint. At the end of the PowerPoint, you're going to see the videos of me doing all the exercises that will be presented to you in this PowerPoint. So this PowerPoint is just explaining all the specific details of what I did in the video. So for the QL strength and stretch exercises, the quadratus lumborum is an extensor of the lumbar spine, a stabilizer of the lumbar area, capable of tilting laterally and capable of acting as an inspiratory accessory muscle. The quadratus lumborum attaches to and originates from the iliac crest and the iliolumbar ligament. The fibers travel supramedially, inserting onto the transverse processes and the inferior border of the 12th rib, of the L1, L4, and the inferior of the 12th rib. For the strength exercises I did in the video you'll see later is I did pelvic tilt. And for the pelvic tilt, you would need to lie on your back with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor, tighten your abdominal muscles as you go up, and press your lower back into the floor while tilting your pelvis upwards. The second I did was the bird dog exercise. And that you will be starting on your hands and knees on all fours, simultaneously extending your right arm and left leg back and vice versa for the other arm and leg, while keeping your back straight, thus feeling a big stretch in your quadratic lumborum. For the QL stretches, I did the child's pose, and again, that one you're going to be beginning on your hands and knees. Sit back on your heels to reach forward, lower your chest toward the ground, and hold for a good 30 to 60 seconds. Make sure your butt is back, sitting on your heels. Seated, in the seated spinal twist I did was you sit on the floor with your legs extended, bend your right knee and cross over your left leg. You're going to put your elbow on the outside of your right knee, and you're going to twist your abdomen, gently feeling a stretch into your QL. Same goes for the other side when you want to switch sides into that stretch on the other side. For this one I did hamstring flexion and proximal exercises. And for this one, as you can see in the diagram, these three muscles are the main ones I focused on in my exercises. And the function of the hamstring is that it plays a role in aiding the absorption of kinetic energy and protecting knee and hip joints. The origin of the hamstring is the ischial tuberosity and its insertion point of the medial tibial condyle toward the head of the fibula that you see right here in the diagram. For hamstring flexion exercises, I did standing toe touches. And for that, it's very self-explanatory, just standing with your feet hip width apart, hinge at your hips and reach down toward your toes while maintaining your legs as straight as possible, feeling a good long stretch on the hamstrings. Seated leg stretch, sit on the floor with one leg extended and the other leg bent. Keep the sole of that foot against your extended leg, extended on the inner thigh. Proceed to lean forward, reaching toward your toes on the side of your extended leg to stretch the hamstring. And the last one I did for flexion, I did Romanian deadlifts or RDLs. You hold a barbell or dumbbell in front of your thighs with a slight bend in your knees. Hinge your hips, lowering weight toward the ground, and maintain your back as straight as possible without rounding your shoulders. Hamstring proximal exercises I did were bridge holds, and for that one you're going to lie on your back with knees bent and feet flat on the floor. Lift your hips toward the ceiling, engaging your glutes and hamstrings at the top, and then slowly go back down. Then the last one I did for the proximal is prone hip extensions. For that one you did lie face down, keeping your legs and arms extended straight out on the lift on one leg, and the opposite arm of the ground, squeezing your glutes and extending your hip. It's important to keep your legs straight and prevent your back from arching, because you'll lose all the significance of that exercise if your back arches. For glute strengthening and stretching exercises, as you see in the diagram here, this is all what was worked on in my workouts. And the function of the gluteus maximus, to get into specifics, is that it's the extensor of the thigh, essentially for maintaining an erect posture, lateral rotation of the thigh, and abduction of the thigh. The origin of the maximus is the outer surface of the ilium, and its insertion point is the iliotibial tract. The gluteus medius function is to be your prime mover of abduction at the hip joint the anterior portion of the gluteus medius abducts and assists in the flexion and medial rotation of the hip, and the posterior portion of the medius portion abducts again, assists in external and lateral rotation of the hip. Its origin is inside the ilium as well, and it inserts the greater trochanter of the femur. So for the exercises on glute strengthening on the sagittal plane, I did barbell hip thrusts. And for that, you're going to sit on the ground with a barbell across hips, feet shoulder width apart, then drive hips up and squeeze glutes at the top. And then lastly, I did deadlifts. Stand with your feet hip width apart, holding a barbell in front of your thighs as you bring the weight down to keep your back straight and avoid rounding your shoulders again, because it will cause pain. For glute strengthening of the frontal plane, I did fire hydrants. Lift the one leg off the floor, moving your knee out to the side and toward the ceiling. Keep your knee bent during the entire movement and your hands straight in front of you. The side lying leg lifts. Lie on your side with your hips and shoulders stacked onto each other. Lift your top leg, keeping it straight, then lower it back down without touching the ground leg. And for the glute stretch that maximized both maximus and medius of the glutes, I did the pigeon pose. And with that one, you're going to start on your hands and feet on the floor. You're going to bring right knee forward and place it right behind your right wrist. Extend your left leg back straight and keep your hips low and squared, and lean forward into it, into the leg that's out in front of you to feel the stretch. And lastly, this is the adductor exercises I did for the adductor short and adductor long. For the adductor short, I did the seated butterfly stretch, and for that one, very simple. Sit with your back straight with the soles of your feet together. Hold your feet with your hands and gently press down on your knees with your forearms toward the floor very gently, feeling that long stretch. And the adductor long, I did side lunge, and with that you stand with your feet wide apart, shifting your weight to the one side, bending your knee and keeping your other leg straight, and it's vice versa for both sides of that exercise. Now the function of your adductors is to pull the thighs together and rotate the upper leg inwards, as well as stabilize the hip. The adductor's origin is the inferior ramus of the pubic bone, and its insertion point is in the linea aspera and adductor tubercle. All the information that I've received here about the functions and points of insertion and origins, it will all be in the description of where I found it. So that's all my work cited. Thank you. And now you will see the exercises now of what I did in this PowerPoint presentation.